Hello. Thanks for listening and watching You Had Options. This episode, I have Jones Willingham on the program. Great photographer out of Birmingham. He does a lot of work at Avondale. He does all the booking. Just great conversation. Fun to talk about his live photography style, the things that he enjoys, the things that just piss him the hell off. People using Nintendo 3DSs in the photography pit. But yeah, great conversation. Make sure you go follow Jones on Instagram. His account is @JonesTakesYourPhotos. Make sure to go follow You Should Be Listening, his account that he uses for booking. It's the letter U and then the words should be listening. Yeah, make sure you go follow You Had Options, You Had Options on Instagram. My band, The Handsome Scoundrels, have a new video out for our new song, Erebus. It's on the YouTubes. And we have a new EP coming out next week on 4/19. Yeah, great talk. Hope you enjoy. Go support local music. Go support any art and music that you like, because it means a lot to the artists. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy. Owen, thanks for joining me. Jones. God damn.
Owen. Owen? Who is Owen?
I don't know. I had Owen in my brain. Okay, we're starting over. I'm sorry, Jones. Jones. Sorry. I don't know where Owen came from.
Thank you, Owen. Thank you. That's funny. That's not even my name. Glad to be here. Hi.
I don't know where Owen came. Maybe I was talking or watching like Owen Wilson clip. I can't remember.
I actually think weird. This is just where my brain went. I share a birthday with Vince Vaughn, and my brother shares a birthday with Owen Wilson.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so we're the odds, right?
Yeah,
yeah. So I think somewhere someone like that was locked in.
It's meant to be. Oh, Jones. Oh my god. Thanks for joining me finally.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've been talking about this for months.
Yeah, no, I was just going through our DMs to figure out, because I put into the world, I was like, someone put me on the podcast and you slid up and was like, yeah, let's do it. And this was
probably last year at some point.
Yeah, it was May of last year.
Was it May of last year?
May 31st of last year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's just how it goes, man. That's how it goes.
It's life. Yeah, we're talking about that. It's always there's always something going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I brought you here because of your photography.
Yes, yeah. I do a couple different things. I do all the marketing for Avondale Brewing Company and the shows, and then I started doing I've been doing photography, like concert photography.
Yeah.
God, how old am I? It's 7 or 8 years now, since I was in college. And now I'm working with more clients and stuff directly. So
were you always taking pictures as a kid, or was photography your thing?
It's funny. It wasn't, but it was in my family. So my grandmother was the type of grandma that was always carrying around her cameras to everything and forcing us to take photos, and no one wanted to.
Damn.
Damn it, she was going to.
You got to.
Yeah. And then growing up, my dad, like I started going to like shows and stuff super young, and my dad was always the guy that brought the little like Minolta digital camera and was just filming everything. Like he was that asshole in the crowd, like with his camera up before like we had cameras on cell phones that was filming like whole sets of it.
Damn.
As a result, like we have like the coolest videos ever of like concerts in Birmingham at like Bottle Tree and some stuff at Cave 9 and stuff like that. That's like obviously it's like shitty quality compared to what we have now.
Right, yeah.
But no, I never took like any photos as a kid beyond me and my brother like filming stupid like YouTube videos.
Yeah.
It really just fell in my lap. I was sneaking cameras in like in high school a little bit to shoot shows, and then I got to college and realized like, oh, this is kind of fun and I might be kind of good at it, and just dove off into it there.
So do you do like other types of photography or...
I tried to.
Yeah.
Like when I first got started, I was like, I'm not going to be a concert photographer. Like, not my thing. Like, it's fun to do on the side, but it's just, I want to do portraits. I want to make money because you can do that in photography, you know?
Yeah.
And so I did that, and I just absolutely hated it. And then, like, slowly realized, like, oh, no, the concert thing's more fun.
Yeah.
Dove into it there.
I would imagine, from, like, an artistic standpoint, the portrait photography is kind of like the office space day job of artistic photographers. Maybe
a little bit.
No offense to
no. I know like a couple of concert photographers around town. Like David Smith is someone that comes to mind that like crushes it with like the grad photos and kind of like brings in his own vision to make it look cool. And then he's also a concert photographer that shoots everything. So there's a blend, but it can definitely become the office space, like just kind of day job of some sorts. I don't know. I got a little bored with it, honestly.
That's fair.
Because I've never been great at like posing people. Like I never like...
Yeah, like put your arm like this.
And I still take like senior photos for friends and a couple of weddings here and there from time to time. And I hate posing people, so I'm just like, just look comfortable. Like, it'll look good if you look comfortable. Yeah. Concerts, I don't know, there's kind of like in live events in general, not just music, but I've done like theater and comedy and that sort of stuff. There's kind of a spontaneity to it that, you know, you're either going to get it or you're not going to get it, and then it's going to happen again, and maybe you get it the next time. So it's just like, I think it's like a rush of adrenaline for, 10 minutes that makes it fun for me.
Say you like miss a cool shot during a show, like you were just saying, and it might come back around. Do you make a mental note of like, oh, this guy was in preparation for that move, he was doing this thing,
sometimes, yeah. Like I'll
or do you like watch film of a band before and you're like, oh, this...
Sometimes, you know, if it's like a bigger shoot, I haven't done any arena shoots, but if it's like amphitheater size or whatever, like I shot Gorillas at Ameris Amphitheater a couple years back, which was just huge bucket list for me.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bands as a kid. Me and my dad went, and it was awesome. And obviously it's a show that like focuses heavily on the visual because they're like a visual band or whatever. So I was going through and watching like some of the tour footage to just bookmark in my head, like, okay, if these are the 3 songs that I get to shoot, this is what they're going to do so that we can line it up. But most of the time, no. I'm just kind of winging it, honestly. Cool. And you hope for the best. You hope you don't get someone that's like boring that stands in one place all the time. But sometimes you do, and that's like part of the challenge of how do you make it interesting. It cool. Yeah. And so you can do that with editing style, or catching the one moment that they might move around. But it's really just a free for all of just making it work when you don't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, touring photography is totally different. If you're like on tour with a band every night, which I've been able to do like a couple of like quick little regional runs here and there, then you can kind of plan a little bit better of like, okay, I know my guitarist is going to do this song, but most of the work I'm doing now, it's just kind of hoping for the best.
Yeah, it just seems like I would be so caught up in myself for like missing something. I guess it's like you got to have a short-term memory of like fuck, fucking screwing this pooch. Yeah.
Nah, the amount of almost shots that I've got where just something is just like out of focus, and it would have been the greatest thing ever if like, it wasn't focused on what's behind. Or worst thing of all is that just the mic stand isn't focused in front of them. So yeah, you just gotta keep shooting, and you also don't want to be obnoxious, and you don't want to go through like 4,000 photos at the end of the night. So it's just a balance to be found.
Do you try and like hide into the like audience? I don't know if that makes sense at all. Or what do you like?
It depends on the venue.
Yeah,
there are a couple of venues. So I'm the house photographer for Iron City, and then obviously the house photographer for Avondale.
Right.
And so there we've got like a pretty spacious photo pit where I'm just going to piss off whoever I'm in front of for 3 songs and then get out. Anytime I shoot in like a theater, so like the Alabama Theater or the Ryman or the Fox Theater in Atlanta, there is no pit. You were just like dancing around these seats, just trying to not piss off the crowd that's paid to be there.
I paid $500.
Well, and also the artist can totally see all that happening like from the stage, and like the worst case scenario is you getting called out from the stage.
Have you had that happen or a near incident?
Yeah. There was one time I was photographing Big Thief at the Ryman.
Okay.
It was my first time at the Ryman, just period. I'd never attended or whatever, so obviously it's like band I love a lot, amazing venue I'd never been to. I'd shot in theaters before, so I kind of knew what the setup was going to be. And the Ryman is like, the acoustics are so good. You can hear a camera shutter go off if it's a fire band.
Oh no!
And so I'm just literally like, the Ryman stage is a little bit smaller too because everybody's seated, so you have to be like super high. So I'm on my knees like at the base of this stage, just like shooting up. I was in college. I didn't quite know what I was doing. So I'm just
young. You didn't know what was going on.
I was young and dumb. So I'm just like rapid fire, like just like going off,
making the noise. Yeah.
And you can hear everything. And after the first song, Adrian Lenker, the singer, is like just a soft-spoken, just looks directly at me and was like, "Hey, I thought we asked for photographers to be silent."
Oh no!
And it felt like a fucking bullet. I mean, it was just like she was totally right. It was totally fine, but it felt like a bullet. So I just like moseyed on out and shot the rest from like the high spot.
Let's shoot from my car.
Yeah. So yes, unfortunately, and that was the day that I realized, like, oh yeah, you can actually like see everything that's going on if you're standing on stage right there.
That's tough. That's like a I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Oh no, I felt like the black sheep son.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, there's like 3 other photographers there. They're just silently looking at me, and this was during COVID, so like we're all like masked up too. Everyone's just looking at me, and I just like retreated back into the darkness. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So wait, it's a chance to learn.
Yeah. I was I think I was like 20, so I learned quickly that night. Yeah.
When you go to shows and you're not working, do you find yourself like, fuck, I wish I was taking pictures?
Oh man, that's such a funny thing. Like 3 years ago, I would have said yes.
Yeah.
Like the arc of my career, between photography and then everything I do at Avondale and then everything I do with You Should Be Listening.
Yeah.
3 years ago, before I'd started all that, I was like, I'm going to photograph everything. Mm-hmm. And I can remember being in college, and I mean, I was probably driving to Atlanta like 3 times a week to like go. Like, it was just horrible. Like, that's like not something that anyone should do. I was doing it for free for a publication that I was shooting for. I was just devouring it. And now, like, I will just actively, like, not go to shows. And it's the weirdest thing. It doesn't mean, like, I don't enjoy it anymore.
Right.
It's become in such a way, such a constant in life that it's easier for me to either A, pass on a show completely if I don't want to shoot it, or B, just show up and not, like, worry about photographing anything. Like, the shows that I book now, which is funny because like I'm booking artists now that are some of my favorite artists. And like, in a past life, I would have been like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna put in to go shoot like Sampha at Saturn, or we just had Slaughter Beach Dog upstairs. I'd be losing my mind. And I'm like, nope, I've got other people that can do it. I'm just gonna like kick back and relax a little bit. I
think that's maturity and being like, I can't fucking do everything.
No. I just remember in college, my dad, who kind of came up in like a similar way and was always like. He was like devouring shit, not doing photography, but just going to every single show as a kid. He was like, it's going to run out. And I'd be like, fuck no, it's not. I'm going to go do everything.
You don't know what you're talking about, old man.
No, I can keep doing this forever. And then I woke up this morning and I'm like, man, my back hurts. Do I really need to go do this?
Gosh, yeah. It's I guess that's a good place to be too, where you don't have to accept everything or be
Yeah.
like, fuck, I need to be shooting the, like, hitting up somebody.
Yeah, and I still have like a couple bucket list things that, you know, I'm gonna put like extra effort to like check off, but I'm at a place now where enough is coming to me, and I work for enough great people that are able to put me on cool stuff that I can kind of just enjoy shooting instead of just running my ass around the world to do anything and everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Can we talk about a bucket list item? Like what would be a top tier?
Well, so I've somehow never shot an arena show. I've done amphitheaters, so that's always that's just globally just a big thing that I'd like to do.
Yeah. Oh my god. God damn, these fucking cats, I tell you what. But they're fine. Hopefully.
An arena show would be a big one. I'd love to shoot one of like the big 3 or 4 festivals, you know, like a Bonnaroo, a Coachella, Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
I've done Firefly, I've done Pitchfork. And Firefly is a massive festival, but it just doesn't exist in the same conversation as something like Bonnaroo.
Okay.
So I'd love to shoot like something of that size.
Yeah.
And the festival photography is a whole different world. I mean, you're just running around like crazy for a whole weekend. And as far as acts go, God, it's interesting. I haven't thought about like who in a long time, because for the past couple years have been pretty crazy. Like I always said Radiohead would be like a big one that I'd want to photograph, but I photographed The Smile, which is like the side project, which is close. It's close enough to be happy with it. You know, they're God, I just had one in my head that would be really, really cool. It's just gone.
Yeah.
I'd love to shoot a big pop show, like something that's like
a Lady Gaga type, where a crazy stage and
yes, yeah. I had some friends that like shot a ton on Dua Lipa's last tour, and that's not that cool. level, but something with that level of production. Obviously, like Taylor Swift would be like amazing. You know, I'm not too keen on the music necessarily, but just the size of the production and the fandom there is like amazing. So.
But to do like that, or I was trying to think of like, I don't know, like Drake at the BJCC or whatever. Do they have like their own team of people, or do they let like outside?
So it really depends from artist to artist.
Yeah.
So the major Firefly is kind of the biggest festival that I've shot at. So I photographed Green Day, I photographed My Chemical Romance, Dua Lipa, Lizzo, and I remember the Killers headlined one year. And they're sick. Yeah, I mean, it's just consistent, like, greatest modern American rock band.
Yeah.
But they were very clear that, and this is like a festival headlining set, you know, like people want to shoot. That's like good publicity.
Right, yeah.
And they will only use their photographer, which is fine. And some artists are like really, really tight about the control thing. I've noticed that in my time at Avondale, that tends to be country music. Like they're just really, really controlling over like their image and stuff like that. They want to make sure nothing unflattering, you know, gets published, which we've seen those stories of where that happens before.
Right, yeah.
People freak out.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But yeah, it just really, I don't think there's necessarily a rhyme or reason to it. People are just, some artists are more protective over their image than others. And, you know, Billy Strings, that's another good example. I went up to the Huntsville just to see Billy Strings last year, and I was working on like a promotion thing for the show, and I was like, hey, maybe I can photograph it. And they're like, oh, we'll submit you. And then I started scrolling through Billy's Instagram, and there was never any photographer other than like his one guy. And all the venues were never posting anything other than his one guy, who's a great photographer. Is awesome. Yeah. But that goes to show you it's not really like genre based. It's like kind of wide open.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's. I guess your image is everything now, especially with in the social media age.
Yeah.
That's
There was that one, I remember like 15 years ago, someone took a terrible photo of Beyonce at the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, where she's like
the
Hulk Jack.
And then like no outside photographer has photographed Beyonce since then.
I think Beyonce's team tried to erase that from the internet.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't quite, but nothing leaves the internet.
The internet.
Eternal.
Yeah. It's weird. Yeah, there's this I forgot her name, but she does have you heard of Depths of Wikipedia?
Yes.
I forgot the woman's name that does it. Taylor or something.
Yeah.
but she has this extremely online book, and she talks about how I kind of agree with her that social media and the internet, it shouldn't be forever. Like, stuff should have like expiration dates. What do you think about that?
There should always be a shelf life, dude.
Yeah, because like I'll get Facebook memories now from when 2009. I'm like, I've had 2 different lives between then.
Coming from someone who started his Facebook when he was in 6th grade.
Damn,
man, those memories are just like shots to the chest.
Yeah.
I think my first Facebook status ever popped up in November because on my 12th birthday, my parents were like, "You can get a Facebook." Oh, yeah. And my first status ever, 12-year-old Jones, no problems, no cares in the world.
Right.
I think the first status was bored again. ...
Oh no!
I'm like, oh,
Jones. Oh man, yeah. I'm sure every once in a while I'll get like a Smiths lyric pop up from your status, and that was whenever the status is where your name is whatever.
Yes.
Do you remember that? Okay. Yeah. I'm a little bit older than you, but
I'm 25, so I'm kind of like in the in between of terminally online and. Like, I still had dial-up as a kid.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah. Dial-up was kids, they got it too easy now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a whole other frightening conversation of how easy the internet is now. But
yeah, I feel so much older, especially like me and my girlfriend moved up here like 2 years ago from Mobile. I don't know if you've spent time in Mobile.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So they've got decent independent scene and stuff down there. But
those venues in Mobile actually like kick ass.
Yeah,
like
they've got some great venues down there. But up here, there's like shows every night, and I've made friends with, especially like the hardcore community. There's like shows every night. I was like, fuck, dude, I can't keep up. I can go to one a week maybe, and I feel so old now.
Dude, I mean, I get it, and I see it from booking shows, and it's so cool. Like, it's so awesome that Birmingham has got to that point.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
To do. But yeah, like, I had a show a couple weeks ago on like a Wednesday night, and there were 4 other shows happening in town. I'm like,
on a Wednesday?
On a Wednesday? Like, it's just wild to me.
Did you grow up in Birmingham?
No, so I grew up in Pell City, so just like east of Birmingham.
My parents lived there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Huh.
Yeah, Pell City Steakhouse.
Yeah. Old reliable. I went to the church across the street for forever.
Right on.
It made me non-religious.
That'll happen.
That's how it goes. Yeah. No, I grew up in Pell City, but I was, we weren't really like a super great fit in Pell City. Just like we were super interested in music and like indie stuff and not great in Pell City. So we spent a ton of time in Birmingham. Yeah. We were going to Bottle Tree very, very young, which is like forever how I shaped how I do anything is that venue.
It's good.
So I tell people I'm from Birmingham. I'm actually from Pell City. That's where the diploma's from, unfortunately. But it's all relative.
It's so your dad was taking you to shows in your.
Yeah, I think
early on.
I think my first proper rock show was at 8 years old. It was the Raconteurs, Jack White's side project in Atlanta. Yeah.
Damn, your dad's cool as hell.
No, I got lucky, and my mom too. Like, they both were super into cool stuff, so they kind of. I think honestly they just drug us around because they didn't want to pay for a babysitter. So if it was an all ages show, they'd be like, "All right, cool, come on." Yeah,
that's better. Yeah, that's better than just leaving you at home with like a dog food pile. On the ground. Yeah.
Here's some chicken nuggets. Don't kill your brother.
Yeah. Oh man. So I don't know. It's interesting. You were talking about your dad like kind of recording stuff and like.
Hush up!
Hush it up!
Jones is out here.
Yeah, but there's like, I'm not into jam band stuff.
Yeah.
But there's like every show gets recorded, and there's like this crazy catalog.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure I don't know if are you into jam stuff?
So it's a funny story, and if my boss at Avondale ever listens to this, she's gonna give me shit, because Avondale is like kind of jam band city, like that they grew up like massive, like doing a ton of like Grateful Dead cover bands, and we I detested jam music until I was just like force fed it.
Yeah.
And I like it a little bit better now. Like I like Goose, I like Fish better than like any of the other classic guys.
Yeah,
I will never turn it on necessarily, but
it's like, where do you turn it on?
Yeah.
What song do you start playing?
So this band Goose that we had last year, it's like the biggest jam band around right now. I mean, after every single show, throws up their set mixed and mastered on Bandcamp.
Is it Setlist FM, or what's the Setlist website?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean you could go find the set list if you want, but they're gonna have it on their Bandcamp.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. Goose is actually uploading. This.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, that's like a whole part of their operation, which is just, I mean, seriously, you go to their website right now and you can pick any show that they've played over the past 5 or 6 years of being. If you want to go stream the Avondale show, you could go pull it up right now and listen to it, and it sounds good. It doesn't sound like a shitty live record, It actually like sounds like they've put time into it. But I remember talking to them about when they were around. They literally turned out in like 24 hours. It's just like a machine. But no, and I think that is a cool part of the jam community, is kind of that go back and re-listen. I'm not a huge live albums guy, period. But just the concept of, I don't know, that takes a lot of work to do that. So it's super impressive to me to be able to keep that up, especially as you become like a massive name. Now, if I have to fight with deadheads over like which 1974 set was the best, I don't give a fuck. Like, it's just not worth that to me.
Denver, July 15th. Were you there?
No, I was not alive.
I wasn't alive yet. Yeah.
But some people are super passionate about it, and that's super cool to me.
Yeah, I was. We have similar jam band experiences, is what it sounds like. Because I was just like, fuck, fucking songs should be 2.5 minutes long. Okay, I'm a Ramones guy, so I'm like cut off is 2.5 minutes. But no, I had friends who are super into it, and they turned me on to like, well, they like, there's bootlegs of like every show ever of all these bands, fucking Widespread Panic and Grateful Dead, and I was like, why?
Again, I love it if people are into that, but. Yeah, I agree with you. Like,
I can appreciate it now. I understand.
I can appreciate how much effort it took and that people care about it.
Yeah.
Do I have the time to invest in that? Absolutely not. Like, I just can't go digging through that too deeply.
Yeah.
It's cool, though, like with special guests or whatever, if there was someone that showed up in 1977 at Boise, Idaho, it's like, oh, shit.
Miles Davis with the Grateful Dead. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I guess every community has their own little weird, but it is, I don't know, it is cool that somebody was like, hey, it'd be awesome if we just record this whole fucking show and just bootleg it and sell the bootleg, or well, now it's not, I guess people sell bootlegs. Is that a thing anymore?
I see different bands approach it in different ways. Like even someone like Pearl Jam has a pretty active taper and bootleg community. And just putting it out there, I fucking hate Pearl Jam. Just before I start talking, like, just know that this is my
Eddie Vedder, if you're listening.
Sure, he's a nice guy. But I remember they have like forums and stuff where that's like freely like shared back and forth. And then some jam bands will like release the bootlegs like for sale if they're official, and I don't know. It's a crazy, crazy world. It's just so much content. Like, it's just so much stuff that.
It's I feel not weird, but like it's like similar to like doing the podcast stuff where it's like I just crank out an hour. I just put the content out there.
Yeah.
It's like
it's all art in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. So it's hard for it's not causing any harm to anybody, and if it makes people happy, go for it. Right. That's awesome.
I would like to cause harm with my podcast at some point, but we gotta get the numbers up. No, I'm just joking. I saw you the Lil Wayne show on your Instagram.
Yeah, that was a wild one.
Was it fun shooting him?
That was the craziest. I mean, it's funny because for some shows it's like super detailed, and then for some shows it's just like, all right, you're just thrown in for 3 songs.
Yeah.
That was the most packed I've ever seen that venue ever, and I've shot probably close to 100 or 150 shows there in the city. It just felt like there were people like hanging off of the rails.
Yeah.
And I remember they didn't give me a photo pit for that one because it was just too full. Too full. There's no way to walk through it. And I'm like on the side. So, Iron City's like got the pit and then like kind of the raised area and the bars over here.
Yeah.
And so I'm like over here by the stage where I typically would walk into the photo pit. But there's like fucking 300 people in this section where typically there's 100. So I'm just literally, he comes on stage. I'm joking with my friend the whole time that he's not coming out because, Lil Wayne's just eternally like late to everything.
Right.
That's his whole brand. He shows up on time.
Damn.
And I just throw up my camera and just start clicking. I mean, it's so full that I cannot properly look. I just set my settings to what I think might work.
Yeah.
And just throw it up, 20 seconds, pull it back down, look at it, adjust, get a little bit more strategic. And so I'm just like battling through the crowd. Rap shows, they rarely play like the whole song. So like the whole 3-song rule, I've probably got like 4 minutes to like get my shots. And so I'm just walking around, again, not even looking at what I'm shooting at any point. I'm just throwing it up there and hoping for the best.
Right.
And I think I stayed for like 6 or 7 songs, but it was so packed. Even though I love Lil Wayne, I was trying to get out of there. And I get out, and then I got like 3 or 4 incredible photos. One of them was so good. His team, like the one with the hand, that's on Instagram. His team reached out to me. There were a couple people in the comments that were like, Wayne should use this as his album art. And I was like, that'd be the coolest shit ever. God. Tag him. Why not? Let's see what happens. And his team reached out to me.
Yeah.
And nothing ever came of it. But that was one of those crazy instances where, I was like 6 or 7 years into doing this when that show hit. And you think you know what you're doing. They get thrown into a situation where you have no clue what you're doing. Wow. And then something good's able to come from it.
Yeah. Has there been a show recently in the past like year or so where you've been like, fuck, I've never... It's something fucking new. I gotta...
Trying to think of what...
Well, maybe let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do some teams of the artist give you like limitations of like only the right side?
Oh my God! Yes. Oh man! All right, so they're
only up above from the right side.
Dude, sometimes it gets so crazy, and there are times when I can like respect it and appreciate. Ultimately, it's like a privilege to be able to do this thing. So like you gotta play by the rules. Sometimes it gets fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's an artist. I'm not gonna.
You don't have no.
I'm not gonna name drop because like their team is really cool. That will only let you photograph them. You cannot photograph dead on in the middle when you're in the pit. It has to be from either side.
Okay.
So we are at a festival where this artist is playing like a very, very big set. And there are like 60 or 70 photographers at this festival that are all corralled in this photo pit. And typically that's fine because you've got enough room to move around and spread around. But because this artist only lets you photograph from the side, they just had us corralled into like basically little pens where we're just like standing.
So the left side and the right side.
Yeah. No one's moving. All of the shots look exactly the same. And there was one poor girl that didn't get the email that wanders into the middle and just starts,
photographer though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. One poor photographer that doesn't get the email that's just shooting from the middle.
Ooh, get the fuck out.
Yank the fuck out of there. Gone. So yeah, you get stuff like that. I've had artists, kind of like the Adrian Lenker story I told, ask for like no shutters before, which again you can usually accommodate. There was one cool thing. There's this band that I love called Unknown Mortal Orchestra. I didn't shoot this, but they got a lot of flack last year because for their pretty big tour, like they were playing like some pretty big rooms, major markets. They mandated that you could only photograph them with film cameras. They would not accept anything digital. If you got approved to shoot and you showed up with a digital camera, you're not getting in the pit. I remember just going on Facebook to like a concert photographers group or whatever, and everyone's just like complaining. Someone showed up with a digital camera, even though it pretty explicitly said don't to, got kicked out, and then went to Facebook and started complaining about it. I think that's badass. Like something like being able to take a stylistic stance like that. I'm like, go for it, dude.
That's interesting. But how? I guess how many working photographers like yourself have like decent enough like film?
I mean, I don't shoot with film.
Right.
0. So if I wanted to shoot it, I'd be fucked. But like, you know, I remember he's a particularly combative artist on Twitter, and he was talking back and forth with the photographer that was pissed about it. He's like, look, man, everything that we did for this record was shot on film. You want to shoot me? Come shoot me on film. And so there's as ridiculous of a request as it is, I think that I have a little bit of respect of being like, these are the rules, play by the rules, go for it.
I like that. Yeah, it's sometimes it's good to be limiting because you don't know what the hell's gonna come out if it's there's like just have a free for all.
Yeah, no, it's good. And again, that's how kind of going back to the image thing we were talking about of like being able to concoct like an image for your art.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's better than just saying like no photographers allowed, because like you can still let people create something around you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh. Again, I didn't shoot that show. I had a friend that bought just a Polaroid, just like one of the shitty ones, just to get a free ticket to shoot the show.
Yeah. You should have tried to get on that show, and you're like, you have the Kodak yellow Insta camera. And
no, I know people that literally showed up with one of those, and like it works. It's filmed. They let them shoot.
Gosh.
But yeah, shout out Unknown World Orchestra for pissing off photographers.
Are they the Honeybee song?
Yeah, that's that one.
Hot song. God,
great band, man.
Yeah,
love them so much.
I would like an artist to go the opposite direction and be like, we're only shooting on Game Boy Advances, the little Game Boy Advance camera.
Yeah,
that's all we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
3DSs only.
3DS. Yes.
Man, there's this really, really incredible photographer out of Atlanta named Tess. I can't remember her last name. That I met shooting some stuff in Atlanta. That has been shooting on the 3DS, like actually in the photo pit, and like making really cool like collages and stuff from it. It does crack. I see them in crowd. It's always like super young kids. They're just like doing it from the meme that'll bring it out. Yeah. So I always see that, and it's always fun to take photos of them taking photos with their 3DS.
Yeah.
But yeah, all 3DS in the photo pit. That'd be awesome.
What would be a good artist for that, do you think?
I'm going to go with like 100 gex or just something. One of those terminally online, you know.
100 gex, I could see that.
Yeah, they'd be into it.
That's another thing, trying to listen to them. Somebody recommended them to me. I was like, fuck, am I just too old? Am I just too old?
It took me a second to come around.
Maybe I need to go back through.
It took me a second. I mean, the first time I listened to it, I was like, fuck, this is just completely...
It's insane.
This is garbage. Like, this is just like throwing spaghetti at a wall. Right. Like, it's terrible.
Somebody put a bunch of spaghetti in a computer while they had Fruity Loops up.
And they're playing Mario. But I don't know. I went back through it, and then I also saw them late night at Bonnaroo a couple years back, and it clicked for me. I was like, oh, this is just fun.
You get it.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's not my album of the year. It's just fun. There's a legend. I have a friend that's a journalist that gave me a quote that I use often. That's not everything has to be Radiohead.
It's true.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel I'm into like, I like fine art stuff, but then I also like professional wrestling. So it's like, you know, you gotta have,
not everything has to be super high concept.
Right.
Like, stuff can just be dumb and fun sometimes.
Right.
I've learned.
Yeah. Do you have strong feelings about people taking shitty pictures with their phones at shows?
Oh man, this is gonna make me sound like a boomer.
I don't think so.
To a point, the thing that kills me about phones, and I see this more with younger crowds, so kind of like, and I like all these artists, so it's not really talking shit on the artistry as much as it is the fandom that surrounds them. So like the Boy Geniuses or the Mitskis and the artists that like Gen Z has like really gravitated to. I see more and more now kids just filming everything.
Like the whole thing?
Like a whole thing. And it doesn't upset me because it doesn't get in my way. And I like to take videos and photos at concerts too to have memories. But I feel like, I don't know, man. Like living through your phone during a moment like that's just wild to me.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't do it. And again, it's kind of going back to the first part talking about my dad like filming everything as a kid. Right. There's not a whole lot of difference there, except for maybe intent of like, what are you actually going to go back and relive this, or are you just like filming it because you feel like you have to?
Yeah.
iPhone photos are cool. Don't use flash. That'll piss me off.
Oh yeah.
Just don't do that. Yeah.
It's not gonna work.
My eternal favorite move that I see every show, I'm guilty of it too, is when you see someone go up with it like this, and then you see, and they go, oh shit, and they pull it back down. Yeah. But yeah, I've been to a couple shows. I know Jack White does this not pretty often completely with all of his shows, where he does like the yonder pouches where you lock.
Oh yeah.
And I remember the first time I did it, I was so pissed off about it because like, how am I going to scroll through Instagram or whatever, you know?
Right.
It's awesome. Like, it's really, really cool. Like, being able to just put it down. As someone that works in marketing and I'm on my phone all day because I work with Instagram.
Right.
It's really cool to like put that down and just take that moment to enjoy the show.
Yeah.
So if we could have more phones, if we could have more shows with no phones, I'd be here for it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like if you go to a wedding and they're like, you can't take pictures. Like, we got a photographer.
Yes,
here.
yeah.
You know, that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the case of a wedding too, they'll fuck up the shot. Like that happen all the time. Like, it's just, and then you gotta tell Grandpa to fuck off. It's terrible.
Mama has her camera out.
It's her iPad.
Yeah. Her iPad.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Grandma, why do you have a 3DS?
Why do you got the 3DS? Yeah. Oh, the kids, the 100 gex, they're doing it. The 50 gex, they're doing it.
I've heard there's a frog on the floor.
Have you, in your photography career, have you tried to branch out into like sports? And you're like, this is like fucking, this is my thing.
God, I have
live sports.
I have so much respect for sports photographers because that's so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, I talk about the spontaneity of, you know, the first 3 songs of That's All You're Limited To.
Yeah.
I mean, sports photographers just have to like fight for that moment that maybe something happens right in front of them.
It's like nature photography almost in a weird way.
Yeah, a little bit where you're waiting for the one instance to grab it.
Yeah.
I've done a little bit. I've shot some basketball events before, but I've never really, I don't really have the gear for it. Like, you kind of need, you know, a longer zoom and a lot more patience than I have.
Yeah,
so,
I feel you.
All the respect to them, though. I have a couple of friends down at Auburn that do like all of the photography for those events, and I can't imagine doing it. It's difficult.
Yeah. I would imagine you'd have to like know like which guy is like the star, or you'd have to know like the roster and be like, oh, this guy's he's gonna have a, I don't know, a crazy 3-point from the logo or whatever.
Well, I'm a big sports guy, so I feel like I could get that piece. I would just, going back to what you were saying earlier about you ever frustrated that you missed the shot. Oh, that would kill me. Like, for sports photography.
And sports, it's like, it's not like an artist where they might repeat their little shimmy or whatever.
Nope.
You know?
It's but it's a cool thing. I'd like to do more of it. It's hard to get into that world, though. It's funny. Most of the folks that I know that are actively like making money in sports photography started when they were in college, and then because college athletics, it's just easy to plug in there with various organizations and stuff, and they're still doing it.
Yeah.
So, but it's cool. It's a cool thing.
Yeah, it seems. I guess it's just like anywhere else, any other like occupation or whatever, where knowing somebody is good. You know, obviously you got to be good at what you do.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Well, I mean, and so much of what I do is relationships too. Like, there's so many awesome publicists that I get to work with when I still do the press stuff, when I'm still shooting for publications rather than the venues I work at. There are some people that have really, really hooked me up in big ways that I'm eternally grateful for. That it's still relationship based.
Yeah. So anybody you'd like to call out? This is the call out. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Don't call anybody out.
Beep.
No. Yeah. It's have you ever played? You talked about touring.
Yeah. I had a band called The Frequently when I was, I guess me and my brother started it when we were super young, and we just had like a rotating, like my cousin was playing in it. We had some friends doing stuff, but it was always like revolved around me and my brother.
Oh, yeah.
So we did that up until COVID hit, and then we grew up. No. Our guitarist left for Portland, and it was just like a good stopping point. But
Tale as old as time.
always Portland. Damn Portland.
We're going to Portland.
But no, my brother's still making music. He plays in a band called Bicycle Day.
Okay.
And I'm working on a project now with him, so hopefully we'll start playing again. It's just tough to find the time for it. That's what I find, is it's just everything else is so busy all the time that like I can create all the music and write all the music I want, but actually like putting it out and recording it and playing shows is just time consuming.
Whole different ball of wax. Yeah. Is your brother in Birmingham?
Yeah, he's in Birmingham. He lives in Fultondale now, but
okay,
Birmingham adjacent.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool. Damn.
Maybe something by the end of the year. We'll see.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Do you get the same sense of accomplishment from photography as you do from like writing songs or performing? Or?
Well, it's funny because those two hobbies and things in my life really traded each other out. So I got to college in 2017 and we were still doing stuff with the band, but that's when I really got into the photography thing. I was also in college doing, school stuff.
Yeah.
And so slowly but surely it just like traded places.
Yeah.
It's a different feeling. I mean, like you said, you've played in bands, so like the adrenaline rush of being on stage is different than taking photos. Like they're both jobs and they're both creative hobbies. But I don't leave a photo shoot like exhausted and kind of fulfilled. Like, that rush that you get after you play a good show. I definitely miss that in time, and I think that I've, with the other ventures in my world, have kind of replaced that a little bit. But I miss playing music. It's just fun. Like nothing compares to it. So again, fingers crossed we'll have something out by the end of the year.
Hell yeah!
And my brother's Ben's project Bicycle Day, they kick ass. Like they're great.
Hell yeah! Check them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, but when you're in the moment, do you take a picture, or you're always going like?
Not always. I can be a little bit more strategic. Okay. I don't like the spray and pray method, as I call it.
Okay.
But sometimes it necessitates itself when you're, dealing with an artist that's moving around a ton, or a Lil Wayne scenario where I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just there and hoping for the best.
But do you take a picture and you're like, fuck, that's it. That's the one.
Every now and then, yeah. I differ from other photographers with this. I know people that will go through, like, we get the first three songs to shoot usually, and I know people that will go through as they're shooting and actively like delete duds off of their camera or find the ones that they like the best. Yeah. I do that all after the fact, after like later on. But there are times when I can see something happening in front of me and I get the photo. I'm like, okay, that's the one that we're posting on like the Avondale Instagram the next day. Like that's going to happen. That's fewer and far between. Usually it happens like as I'm editing and I stumble upon it. I'm like, oh shit, this is good.
Yeah.
So.
Damn. Yeah. It seems like, it's interesting because you're doing the work by taking the picture, taking all the pictures. Then you have to go through again and do the other work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Culling through. And that's the part that like stresses me out the most is like I've got photo sets I'm going to leave here and go work on because I've just been putting them off because I don't know, you get like self-conscious of yourself in the editing process.
I believe it.
It's like you can see the bones of a good photo that's trying to come out.
Yeah.
But you've got to like edit it to get it there. And sometimes you just can't. Sometimes it's a killer photo that's just going to look like shit because of the lighting or because of, someone's eyes are just like barely closed. And, and going back to the short-term memory, you just got to move on. You just got to move on and hope you got another photo. Now, if you've got no photos, then you're fucked. But,
Gosh, that sounds very stressful.
It is. We're all sadistic.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah. You just
the risk is, or the reward is worth the risk of being stressed out.
Yeah. And I mean, like the beauty of social media is that you kind of only need one. Like you need like one photo that's gonna work.
I guess.
So with Avondale, like with the marketing that we do for the music stuff, obviously, I want like a bank of stuff that I can pull from forever. But if I'm showing off a sold out show at the venue, you just need one photo to get the point across.
Yeah.
So it is like, shooting fish in a barrel, but I'm trying not to psych myself out too much. But there have absolutely been times when I've walked away and been like, that sucked. Like, it's just terrible,
Yeah.
So.
Is there an elevator or something being built? We went to the St. Patrick's Day celebration.
Yeah, the shuck-off.
The shuck-off.
Yeah.
And, I haven't been able to get to a show upstairs yet.
Yeah. Thank God there is an elevator coming. So Birmingham bands that are out there, there's an elevator coming. There are no more stairs. TBD. We're working on it, but nice. Just very excited for the next phase of what Avondale's going to look like.
Yeah.
There's some really, really cool stuff on the horizon. Elevator being one of them, but it's been a wild time. Construction in any capacity is always the craziest thing ever.
And the Avondale space, just all of it is so huge.
We got a lot of room. It's been pretty crazy. Yeah.
Huge backyard, big stage area.
Yeah. We've been really, really lucky. I always joke with folks that we were. And so I've been working for Avondale since 2017, since I moved to Birmingham.
Oh, nice.
I was in a box office capacity doing ticketing, and then 2022 they promoted me, and now I run the ticketing and marketing. And
nice.
So I've been there and really just seen it, just supernova to the moon. And I've got the greatest team that I manage, and everything is really, really cool. And the growth has been crazy to see, because we were a bar and brewery that accidentally backed into being a concert venue.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people in the venue space build out venues of we're going to make money and bring in the coolest bands. And as you probably know, it's hard as fuck, dude. It's just difficult to do that in the live music industry.
Wow.
And so I think a result of the way that we've done it as we have, our team is so efficient in how we get stuff done, because we've been doing it for so long and have just gradually ascended to this place of, we're still going to deal with crazy shit. I mean, we're still going to deal with shows that have 5 18-wheelers and 4 tour buses.
Right.
We had Janelle Monáe last year. That was an arena tour that popped in Avondale. But we all lean on each other a lot, because we've backed into this rather than said we're going to do this. It's been such a slow progression up to that point that we can manage just about anything now.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to go about something like that. Not just like you were saying, where it's let's just build a huge stage, and they will come.
They don't come. They don't come. No, you have to have really
spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, God, it just, and the live music industry right now is in such a perilous place because of COVID. Everybody's touring and everybody's looking for dates, and everybody's asking for more money, and not many people are drinking anymore, which is how these venues stay afloat, generally speaking, is on food and beverage. So again, having kind of the space to breathe, literally, because we're such a wide open multi-purpose space, and also having the team that we do, that just kind of, we work pretty well together, and everything goes really well. That kind of gives us the foundation to really grow at a sustainable pace.
Nice. Yeah.
All I have to say is the elevator is stressing me. I am so ready to stop carrying Marshall cabinets up the stairs. God, it is just
Yeah, you get a 810 bass cab. You gotta.
Dude, I've loaded some crazy shit up those stairs. We had an act about a month ago that was the loudest band I've ever put in that space, that I thought was going to be a singer-songwriter folk thing. Yeah. Absolutely not. 4 8x10 cabs, 3 Vox AC30s. This Moog synth setup that was bigger than anything, and we have a pretty tiny stage up there. It's only 16 by 20. We've loaded some crazy stuff. It's always funny too, because when I'm advancing with bands, I'm always very, very upfront of hey, load-in is upstairs. We don't have an elevator.
Yeah.
Heads up, if you want a stagehand, we can figure it out. I'll be there. I'll help you. And then they still show up and they park by the staircase, and they're like,
what the hell is this?
You didn't fucking tell me this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the way it goes. That's cool. It's exciting.
It's a good time. I've had a lot of fun in that room. It's been fun booking stuff up there.
That's cool. Yeah. Man, we've been going for 50 minutes ish. We can wrap this rascal. Is there anything you'd like to promote?
Follow You Should Be Listening. Instagram, Facebook, whatever. That's where I'm booking all these shows now, and we've got some cool stuff coming to Saturn and upstairs. I've got Swans at Saturn next week, which is going to be just, you talk about bucket list. That's a bucket list. That'll be fun. So that's really the only thing to plug, really.
Okay.
I mean, you'll probably see my photos somewhere at some point, and if you want to bless me with a follow, then
I'll put all your stuff at the beginning of this episode. Yeah.
Totally.
Jones, you had options, but you decided to talk to me. I appreciate it.
First podcast checked off.
Another bucket list item.
Another bucket list, podcast. Let me talk my shit.
We'll have to do it again. Yeah. Whenever you and your brother get the group going.
Absolutely.
We'll do both of them. Thanks.